Good morning, children. Welcome again in biology class. So today we'll continue chapter tissues, and today's subtopic is animal tissues. So basically, the animal tissues, there are four types: epithelial tissues, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and neural tissue. So let's move on to epithelial tissue, which are thin, protective, and continuous sheet of cells. They are found at the surface of the body, lines of the various body cavities and internal organs, including the blood vessels. For example, the outermost layer of skin and the lining surfaces of the mouth, nose, lungs, stomach, they are all made up of epithelial tissue. Now, the shape of the epithelial tissue may be flat, cuboidal, or columnar in shape. Now, in all cases, the epithelial tissue, they fit tightly together without any intercellular spaces. The functions of epithelial tissue is to protect, absorb, and secrete, as in intestine, protection as on skin, and sensory perception. This epithelial tissue, it is also categorized in 5 different types. So number 1 is squamous epithelium, which is composed of cells which are thin plates of irregular shape, like cells in outer layer of skin, lining of mouth, and nasal cavities. These cells or these epithelial tissues, they protects the underlying parts from mechanical injury, germs, harmful chemicals, and drying up. Second is the stratified epithelium, which is found in the skin and in the cornea region, and it is composed of layers of the same or different kinds of epithelial cells. So here are the different kinds of epithelial tissue in the animal body. Squamous epithelial tissue, which is flat, irregular shaped cells. As you see, children, they are flat and irregular in shape. Then here is the stratified epithelium, which has several layered cells. Then here the cuboidal epithelial cells, cube-like structures, and next is the columnar epithelium, which are elongated cells, and in some parts they are elongated and they are the cilia, so they are known as ciliated columnar epithelial cells. The cuboidal epithelium, it is found in some parts of kidney tubules and in some glandular ducts like salivary glands. And columnar epithelium, they contains vertically arranged cylindrical or brick-like cells. They are taller in size and they are generally found in the inner lining of the stomach and the intestine. Ciliated columnar epithelium are present at some places in the body, like lining of the trachea. Now the columnar epithelium, it is here ciliated. That means finger-like projections are present, and these finger-like projections are known as cilia. The cells of ciliated epithelium, they have thread-like protoplasmic projections called cilia at the free ends. Now these cilia, they constantly keep lashing and move the materials which enter these regions. Then glandular epithelium, which is also a kind of columnar epithelium, they contain large cells which secrete certain chemical substances. They are present in the lining of the stomach and in the intestine. Now in some places they are folded inward to form compact, hollow or tubular glands like the sweat glands, tear glands, or the liver. Next animal tissue is the connective tissue, which binds one tissue to another and also connects various organs. Now they have particular characteristics, like they have intercellular substances, the matrix, Less number of cellular elements are present and they have fibers. Now, on the basis of the function, this connective tissue, they are classified as connective tissue proper, supportive connective tissue, fluid connective tissue. So, connective tissue serves for packing and binding of the organs. Supportive connective tissue gives support like cartilages and bones, and fluid connective tissue like the blood and the lymph. Connective tissue proper is again subcategorized as areolar tissue, adipose tissue, fibrous connective tissue. So, areolar tissue, it is mostly spread beneath the epidermis of skin. It makes the skin elastic and it also helps to withstand pulling the strain. Adipose tissue, it has specialized cells which store fat. Now this tissue forms the padding under the skin and around the kidneys, eyeballs. Padding under skin, they act as insulation for retaining the body heat. Fibrous connective tissue is mostly formed of fiber forming cells which form tendon and ligaments, which tendon connects muscles to bone and ligaments connect bone to bone. Next is the supportive tissue or the supportive connective tissue. One is the cartilage, which is non-porous tissue. Means no pores are present. It has thick intercellular substance called the matrix. It has no blood vessels or nerves, and cartilage, it is semi-transparent and elastic. Cartilages, they are found in the tips of nose, external ears, trachea and bronchial tubes between vertebrae and at the end of long bones. Now, bone is hard porous tissue which is good supply of blood vessels and nerves. It consists of both living cells and a rigid mass of inorganic salts. Third is the fluid connective tissue. Now, blood, which is composed of the liquid blood plasma and the cellular part, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. So these are the red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. Next is the lymph, which is the fluid surrounding the body cells, and it is essential that blood plasma which has ooze out of the blood vessels. It contains white blood cells and no red blood cells are present. So both blood and lymph, they are mainly concerned with the transportation and also with the immunity of the body. The third animal tissue is the muscle tissue, which forms the muscles of the body, and muscles can contract and relax. They help the body in its movement. So there are three types of muscle cells: striated muscle cells, which are also known as skeletal, striped or voluntary muscles. Then number 2 is again the unstriated muscle cells, which are smooth, unstriped or involuntary, and heart are the cardiac muscles. So here are the different types of muscle cells. Striated muscle cells, as you see here, children, which has dark band and light band. The nucleus is also present, and this is the unstriated muscle cell, and this one is the cardiac muscle cell, which is present in the heart. There the intercalated disc is present, then oblique connection is here, nucleus is present, myofibrils are there, and see cardiac. So striated muscles, they are under the control of the will of an individual. Like the muscles in our arms, whenever we want to move, it moves. If we want to lift the box from the ground, then we move our hand. Now these type of muscle cells, they constitute about 50% of the body weight. For example, arms, muscles of the arm, the legs, the body wall, face, neck, diaphragm. Unstressed muscles that are not under the control of the will, like movement of passage of food in the intestine, They are caused by the contraction of the unstraightened muscles in the intestinal walls. Now, such muscles, they are composed of slender and tapering cells, like muscles of the iris of the eye, those in the skin, blood vessels, urinary bladder, and uterus. So, here is a summary of the various categories of the animal tissue. Now, cardiac muscles, they are involuntary and they are found only in the heart. Next, last tissue is the neural tissue, which constitutes the nervous system. It is made up of elongated cells called neurons. So here is the structure of a neuron or the nerve cell. It is divided into two main parts, the axon and the cyton. Sorry, this is cyton and axon. The cyton contains the nucleus, cytoplasm, dendrites, whereas axon part contains again the nucleus, neurulema, myelin-sheath nerve, and node of Ranvier. Now these are the extra cells which cover the axon. These are the nerve axon ending, which helps in transmission of the messages from one neuron to the other neuron. So these nerve tissue, it is concerned with the perception and responses of the animals. So this is all for today, children. Next class we'll learn next chapter. Till then, thank you and have a nice day.